you wouldn't put 3 BFG tires on a vehicle and 1 Cooper or 1 Dunlop, right? So to me, it makes sense. Keep all the electronics from the same company. Hey, welcome back to Expedition Extreme. I'm Sean Mayer, and today we're discussing Redarc. Right, so it's been 8,000 kilometers since we installed the Redarc system, and I tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure. If you haven't seen the reveal of the truck yet, go down into the description. There's a total reveal. You can see everything we've done to the vehicle, basically stripped it and started from the beginning, except for the engine and the tires. We pretty much replaced the whole bang chute. But today we're discussing Redarc. Now, having a good dual battery management system is imperative. But therein lies a couple of questions, right? So, what are you going to be doing with your vehicle? Where are you going to be traveling? How long are you going to be traveling for? And what do you want your battery to, or your vehicle to offer you as far as charging capabilities? Now, do you have a lot of 220 volt? I do. I've got to charge cameras, batteries, the whole bang chute, and I've got a big 12 volt supply as well. I run 3 fridges in the car. I've got 1 in the center console, I've got 2 in the back. 1 acts as a freezer and 1 acts as a fridge, especially on the long trips. So, running batteries, that's a whole different conversation, right? We're not going to discuss that right now. But let me touch on that. Okay. So I used to run AGM batteries, and my biggest issue was the dual battery management system that I installed was one of those basic battery management systems. You buy them from, everybody's got them, National Luna, you've got Piranha, you've got C-Tech, you've got a whole bunch of them. But what they are actually is the alternator charges your main battery, and when your main battery is full, it just basically sends the power to your auxiliary battery and charges that. Now, your alternator is sending a current that might not speak the same language as the battery. Now, it's imperative when you start touring that you utilize good batteries, and I'm not going to go into the batteries. Please don't ask me which battery is best. I use lithium, and I'm telling you, it's over the top, absolutely awesome. I've never worried about power. But why I don't have to worry about power is because I've installed the Manager 30. Now, what the Manager 30 does, it basically takes, it's a DC to DC charger. So it takes the direct current, your 12 volt, and it charges into a 12 volt battery. Now, whether it be AGM, whether it be lead acid, lead crystal, you name it, lithium, you name it, it's on the menu system over there. You can set it up and it will speak the proper language to the battery. Now, that's what's important over here, is what language does your battery accept? Does your battery accept 13.8 volts? Does it accept 14.4 volts? Does it only accept 12 volts? That is something that I'm the wrong person to speak to with regards to that, and that's why we have Gareth in our 12 volt guru testing stuff. But what I can tell you is that when you go to a Redarc product, you don't have to worry about being a guru. The product does it for you. Now, so I've got 275 amp lithium Reliant batteries in mine. I've got 2 100 watt panels on the roof. Over and above that, I have 2 100 watt panels, flexi panels, stored inside the vehicle over here, and I can move them around and get the optimal direction to wherever the sun is. So the flat panels, yes, they work, and while I'm driving and while the car's standing still, it's always going to get power. But when I'm camping out for a number of days, those panels really work. And another absolute awesomeness about the Manager 30 is that you can see how much amperage you're getting from your solar panel. And I tell you what, by moving my panels 10 degrees, I can see immediately the amperage that's coming in. You don't get that from your standard dual battery management system that's available on the market, right? The standard that's not a DC to DC charger, doesn't have a management aspect to it. You can see voltage. Now, if you move your panel around and you say, well, I'm getting 14 volts, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. You need to see how much amp power is coming into the vehicle. Why? Because you need to see how much amp power is going out, and this is what the Manager 30 does. Now, besides the Manager 30 being green, and you've seen all the product reviews out there, and it takes green power first, the fact of the matter is that the Manager 30 accepts solar, and always take the solar first. It accepts the charge from your vehicle when you're driving, and it also accepts 220 volt or 110 if you're in the States. Right, easy as that. So 3 separate kinds of power sources that you can put in here. So, well, generator or fixed 220 volt at home. Taking this power, it will always optimize the power that's coming in for the battery, right? So it'll take, if it's 30 amps coming in from your alternator, it will take that and pump it into the battery that you're running. Now, with my lithium, I don't really have to worry because they are so thirsty. It's got a big mouth and it can take so much in. So it can fill up so quickly, whereas if you're going with the AGMs, you've got to throttle it down. It doesn't like too much coming in at the same time. So the Manager 30 would manage that for you. Right. Bored you enough about that. Let's get in and let me run you through the menu functions of this and see why I'm so excited and why I don't need to look at my batteries and how much I'm using anymore, because this guy takes care of it all. So if we look at the Manager 30, the display, you can pretty much mount this anywhere you like. I've mounted this on the roof console so that I can just take a quick peek while I'm driving on the long roads. And you can set up your home screen to any of these screens that I'm going through right now. So for me, most important is I want to see what's coming into the vehicle. Right now it's running on solar. I'm pretty much in the shade, so it's only picking up 7.4 amps off the 200 watt solar panels. I'm drawing 2.9 at the moment, and 4.4 is going into the battery. This to me is the most important screen out of them all, to make sure that whatever current I'm putting in, I'm not drawing more than that. So if I had to put on my working lights right now, you'd see it jumps up. Right, so still getting more current coming in than going out. So again, important. If we had to stick on the additional fridge, let's put that on real quick. And when that kicks in, that'll probably ramp up, and I would end up having less power going into my batteries. Then there we go. I'm losing an amp, losing 1.3, 1.5 amp power on my battery. Which means if we take this right now, that the next screen, okay, pretty much you can see here, stage is boost. Once the batteries are full, it'll go into a floating mode. Touring is basically when you're utilizing your vehicle, you'd keep it on the touring mode. But if you're storing your vehicle or your trailer or your caravan for long periods of time, you would then put that into, you'd change the mode on that, and you'd be able to go and put it into a storage mode. I use my vehicle quite often, so I don't have to go into the storage mode. Right now, batteries are at 13.1 volts, and the battery temperature is 38 degrees Celsius. Okay, simple, time and date. Right, so because I'm drawing more power right now with the fridge, the lights, 2 fridges, the lights, and the solar being pretty much in the shade, you'll see there it's 1 day until flat. My batteries are at 55%. Now, if I had to change this all and switch off the additional fridge, let's switch that off. Right, you see immediately it jumps up to, well, okay, let's wait for it, let it think about it. Let's go back to my home screen.
Okay, so home screen, I am now putting in 4.5 amps into that. So if I go back to that screen, it's now changed to 16 hours until it's full. So if I don't start the vehicle and I stay in the shaded spot right now, it's going to take 16 hours to charge the battery. That's important. So knowing how long it's going to take to charge the battery and how long until it's flat will determine how long you can stay in one stagnant area without getting external charge, whether it be a generator, whether it be additional solar panels that we've got to put out. But it's all at a touch of a button, right? So as you can see, I'm only getting 14.9 volts at the moment, 15 volts coming in because I'm shaded, and there's 12.5 volts is my startup battery, the main battery, so that's full, and I'm getting no current whatsoever coming from a 220 volt supply, so no generator, and it's not plugged into the home or any kind of extension lead that you get at any of the camping sites or caravan parks. Right, so very important over here as well that I like is your charge logs, right? So you can see the state of charge, you can see what it's done throughout all the timing periods. So at 3 a.m. this morning I was 61%, and it's dropped all the way to 55%. Now as the sun starts rising, I haven't put the extra solar panels out, and I get out of the shade, I would probably get a bigger boost over there. Another nice thing is the solar info. So you can see, right, total for the day is only 132 watt hour. So if I go back and I look at the day before, was 895, 510, 251. I was obviously parked up in a very shady area that day, 693, 865. And you can kind of see what you're getting on average when you're in full daylight. So if I put the additional solar panels over there, I normally get up to about 1,300, 1,400 watt hour, and that obviously boosts the batteries a lot more. So really easy. I mean, this really does everything for you. You don't have to worry about the whole bang shoot. To set it up, it's basically getting into the settings, and this is where you would set up your battery. So mine's got the battery as lithium, 150 amp hour, and you can edit this, right? So if you were running calcium, lead acid, AGM gel batteries, you just choose it over here, and it basically sets up the whole thing for you, right? You don't have to worry about the amount of power that's coming in or the amount of power that the battery can actually take in and utilize 100%, whereas your standard, as I mentioned before, your standard just little cut over management or dual battery systems that you get, you would get a constant voltage and amperage coming into the vehicle or into the auxiliary battery, and it might not accept that amount of voltage coming in or amperage coming in. Yeah, and that's it. Simple run through. It's great. You can see it live, what's going on at any given time in your vehicle, and you can take action accordingly to make sure that your batteries get the optimum charge.
Right, so the only issue that I had, so you get a Cat, what are these, Cat 5 I think it is, Cat 5 cables that this connects the main screen that we were looking at right now to the Manager 30. And I don't know whether it was my fault during the installation where I ran it through the top, through the roof to get to my console over there. It worked for a couple of weeks and we found a fault, and I could still see the display, but it just wasn't giving me, it was saying that I was losing power all the time, but I know that I've got more power coming in to the batteries or through the Manager 30 than I'm drawing. Well, unless the inverter's on and the compressor's running at the same time, obviously I'm not going to get that 30 amp coming in. But tell you what, quick call to the call center. Yes, okay, you got to phone Australia, but you know, well worth it. And the guys over there, wow, fantastic. Within a couple of minutes, we went through the diagnosis. Well, we went through all the issues that I was facing. I sent a couple of pictures on WhatsApp, and boom, simple as this, a little $5 cable, and I now carry a spare in the vehicle just for in case it's cooking on the roof. Well, slot between the roof and the lining inside, because that's where I've run it. So if that's the fault, then I've got an extra one with me at any given time. But other than that, this thing's faultless. Absolutely faultless. What an awesome piece of kit. And yeah, I know it's expensive, guys. Look, it is. And yes, they sent me one. Would I purchase one for my next vehicle? Absolutely yes. The next build, I will be purchasing one and putting one in my vehicle. I will not be running any of my electronics without the Manager 30 as the heart of the entire DB board and, well, the heart of all the power, really. You can go different routes. Yes, you don't have to take the Manager 30. Yes, you can get the BCDC 40 amp, and there's a 20 amp, and then you can buy your own display that shows the amperage and the amp hour readings and the whole bang shoot. But then you're using a third party gadget with one. I prefer to use everything all together. In fact, I've gone a step further. I love this product so much that I've actually gone and purchased the 1000-watt inverter so that it's Redarc on Redarc all the way through. It just speaks the same language, and to me it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Living in the truck, doing as much touring as we're doing, you wouldn't put 3 BFG tires on a vehicle and 1 Cooper or 1 Dunlop, right? So to me it makes sense. Keep all the electronics from the same company. It seems to be absolutely robust. We'll see how it goes. We've only had it for a couple of months. Like I said, we've only done 8,000 Ks. Bumping all over the place. Nothing's gone wrong. Like I said, only fault was a little $5 cable. Good product. Love it. Craig, you guys at Redarc absolutely rule, guys. And I wish we'd get a proper distributor down here in the UAE so that it is out there and you guys can purchase it. It's well worth it. Well worth the money spent. So from us, absolute thumbs up. You will see this in all of my vehicles. If it's dusty, drive it.